Genesis GV60 Magma, the future of luxury electric performance. Welcome to our channel dedicated to the Genesis GV60 Magma, where innovation, luxury, and electrifying performance come together. Here you'll find updates, reviews, design details, and everything you need to know about this high-performance electric SUV from Genesis. Genesis GV60 Magma Full Review, Luxury Meets Performance. Genesis GV60 Magma First Look, Stunning Electric SUV. Genesis GV60 Magma Interior and Exterior Walkaround. Why the Genesis GV60 Magma is a game changer. Genesis GV60 Magma vs Tesla Model Y Performance. Genesis GV60 Magma Driving Experience, Power and Style. Top features of Genesis GV60 Magma you must know. Genesis GV60 Magma 2025 What to expect. Genesis GV60 Magma Price, Specs and Release Date. Genesis GV60 Magma, the ultimate luxury EV SUV. Genesis GV60 Magma, Genesis GV60, Magma Edition, Genesis EV, Luxury EV, Genesis SUV, Electric Performance, Genesis Magma, Luxury Cars, Future of Driving, Electric SUV, Genesis Motors, EV Innovation, High Performance EV, Next Gen EV. Genesis GV60 Magma. Genesis GV60 Review. Genesis Magma SUV. Luxury Electric SUV. Genesis GV60 2025. Electric Performance SUV. Genesis GV60 Specs. Genesis GV60 Design. Genesis GV60 Features. Genesis EV Lineup. Genesis Magma Edition. Luxury EV 2025. Genesis GV60 Price. Best Electric SUVs. Genesis GV60 Performance. Genesis Electric Car. Genesis SUV Review. Future Genesis Cars. Genesis GV60 Interior. Genesis GV60 Technology. Genesis GV60 Magma. Genesis GV60 Magma Review. Genesis GV60 Magma Price. Genesis GV60 Magma Specs. Genesis GV60 Magma Release Date. Genesis GV60 Magma SUV. Genesis GV60 Magma Electric. Genesis GV60 Magma Performance. Genesis GV60 Magma Interior. Genesis GV60 Magma Exterior. Genesis GV60 Magma Features. Genesis GV60 Magma 2025. Genesis GV60 Magma Design. Genesis GV60 Magma vs Tesla. Genesis GV60 Magma EV. Genesis GV60 Magma Luxury SUV. Genesis GV60 Magma Walkaround. Genesis GV60 Magma Top Speed. Genesis GV60 Magma Technology. Genesis GV60 Magma Details.